Do you ever wonder how life would be if you didn't live the life that you live now? Like, I always wonder, excuse me, what do other people do in their life? Obviously, there's things that we all do in common, like we go to work, you know. Um, but how did we get there? How did we start working for the place that we worked at and that we work in? Is it something we liked? Is it just a job? Did somebody tell us? And then I think of things like, what do they do when they're not at work? See, I've always worked retail. For me, it just works. Um, Other jobs, more professional jobs. I mean, okay, I don't want to say my job isn't professional because I spend a lot of time um, in management. So, but I mean, like, you know, professional jobs, like insurance or, like the career based jobs, like, being, a doctor. Like, I wonder, like, how did people get there? What path did they take to get there? Were they born into a family that pushed them to do those things, or is that something they enjoyed? I see so many people all day, every day. I have this weird thought in my head. Like, is this person a serial killer? Like, I see thousands and thousands of people all day, every day. You can't tell me that I've never not spoken to a serial killer. And that goes for a lot of jobs. Like, if you're a car salesman and you sell a serial killer car and they use that car to go murder people. Or that you're in insurance and they call to get insurance on a car that they plan on murdering somebody in. What do people do in their free time? I know what I do in my free time. Do people look at me and wonder, like, is he a serial killer? Like, am I the off one? My day starts with me waking up, listening to music. I eat breakfast, I get dressed, I go to work. I get off work, and sometimes I don't know what to do with myself. Like, right now I'm at a park right now, just thinking. And as I sit in my car, are people like looking at me thinking like, wow, what does he do in his free time? Do you ever wonder? Do you ever wish you can live the life of somebody else just for one day to see what their routine is? How they got there, their friends, their family, their loved ones, the people around them. Like, how did they get here? How were those chosen? The memories as a child that they might have had, the memories as an adult that they might have. Um, I think of people who, were born 100 years ago, or people who were born 200 years ago, or people that were born 300 years ago, or even somebody who was born 15 years ago. The world is changing and so much has changed. My mind just has these weird thoughts of, I just want to know. So, if there's anybody here that follows me or watches this video that lives in my area, I would love to spend 24 hours with you just to see what your life is like. I just want to know. I recently started a new job. Not recently, but within the last year. And some of the conversations that I've had with some people, I would have never thought that that's what they did in their life. So I've been usually I don't ask people like, "Hey, what do you do in your free time?" But lately I have been. I have this coworker who he loves to hike. You look at him, you wouldn't think that he was a guy who loved to hike. Not that a hiker has a certain look, but it's like he just doesn't look like he's been on a hike. Fit guy, cool guy, just doesn't look like it. Another guy, he doesn't drink, but he's wild. I always make it, wonder like, you on drugs? He drunk? No, that's just how he is. What do they do in their free time? What's their routine? Are they serial killers? Do I work with a serial killer? Wouldn't that be wild? You know what? Actually, I didn't work with a serial killer. I did work with a guy who got arrested for making certain type of videos of things with and he got arrested. And that was one of the things because like he looked like the type of guy who would do something like that. So like nobody was surprised when that came out. But at the same time, nobody thought about it at the time. So what do people do? When I shut this camera off, you don't know what I'm going to do. I can tell you what I'm going to do. I can tell you that I'm going to go home, clean my room, get ready for the next day at work, maybe make some dinner. But do you know that? You don't. I wish I could just have a globe and look at somebody and envision in my mind what they do for 24 hours. Do you know how crazy that would be? To get in the mind of somebody, to know what they did. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if I'm like getting in the mind or something and like somebody does something very horrible? Like, that'd be crazy to see firsthand. But I wouldn't want to see that. What do people do in their free time? Like the park I go to, I park on the end where nobody comes to because there's like a little trail that nobody really walks on. And there's this one car that I see every single time I come here. I wonder what the routine is like. Do they get up? Do they go to work? Do they come here after work? Because I usually come here after work. And just relax, unwind, think about life. Are they a serial killer? How common is something like that these days? Because we live in a world where everything is recorded. There's cameras everywhere. There's probably a camera somewhere watching me right now. I don't know how I feel about that. There's somebody with a dash cam or a satellite camera or something probably watching me. Maybe inside my phone there's a camera inside of a camera that's watching me. And who's ever watching me is thinking, wow, this guy's nuts. Am I though? Hmm, I don't know. I guess we'll never really know, you know? Um, 'Cause once again, you don't know what I do in my free time. I just can only tell you and hope you believe me. But would you believe me? I want to get out in the world and explore. When does it end? When does life end? I guess we'll find out. And when you find out, did you really find out? Or does it just go blank?